Chosen one, you've been feeling different lately, haven't you? This is why. Something inside you shifted quietly. No announcement, no warning. Just a deep, unexplainable knowing that your life is not the same anymore. You tried to ignore it at first. You told yourself it's just a phase. But deep down you feel it. Everything around you is changing, and you can't go back. Because this isn't random. This is alignment. This is divine movement. This is God shifting everything for you right now. You were never like them. From the beginning, you felt different. Different thoughts, different energy, different vision. While others followed the crowd, you questioned it. While others slept, you felt awake. While others fit in, you stood out, even when you didn't want to. And that made life harder. People misunderstood you. They judged you, rejected you, sometimes even laughed at you. But what if I told you? That was never a weakness. That was the first sign. You were never meant to blend in. You were designed to stand apart. The isolation was part of the plan. You felt alone, haven't you? Even in a room full of people. Even around friends, family. There was always this invisible distance. Like you don't fully belong here. And it hurts. It really does. But here's the truth most people will never understand. God isolates the chosen before elevating them. Because noise blocks clarity. And distractions block purpose. That loneliness, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Everything is falling apart on purpose. Lately, things haven't been going your way. Plans failing. People leaving. Situations collapsing. You're wondering, why is everything breaking at once? But what if it's not breaking? What if it's being rebuilt? God will remove anything that doesn't align with your next level. Even if it hurts. Even if you don't understand it right now. Because where you're going, not everyone can come with you. Your awakening is real. You've started noticing things others don't. Energy shifts. Intentions behind words. Truth behind illusions. You can feel when something is off, instantly. And it's overwhelming sometimes. You question yourself. Why am I like this? But this is not confusion. This is awakening. Your awareness is expanding. Your spirit is rising. And once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. They tried to silence you. Have you noticed? Whenever you start stepping into your truth, something or someone tries to pull you back. Doubt, fear, opinions, criticism. People suddenly have a problem with you growing. They say you've changed. They say you're different. But what they really mean is, you're no longer controllable. Chosen ones are dangerous. Not because they harm others, but because they can't be controlled by a system built on illusion. You're being redirected, not rejected. That opportunity you lost. That relationship that ended. That door that closed. It felt like rejection. But it was. It was redirection. Sometimes God will block your path. Because you were about to settle for less. Because you were about to walk into something that wasn't meant for you. And instead of explaining, He removes it to protect you. Your energy is shifting. You don't tolerate the same things anymore. Conversations feel shallow. Drama feels exhausting. Fake people feel unbearable. You're craving peace, clarity, purpose. And that's not random. That's growth. Your frequency is rising. And not everything can match it anymore. This is your transformation phase. Right now, you're in between. Not who you used to be, but not fully who you're becoming yet. And this stage, it's uncomfortable, confusing, heavy, sometimes even painful. But this is where the real transformation happens. This is where your old self dissolves, and your true self begins to emerge. God is rearranging your entire life. You don't see the full picture yet, but behind the scenes, everything is moving. Every delay, every loss, every unexpected change, it's all part of a bigger design. God is aligning people, opportunities, moments that match your purpose. Even when it feels like chaos, it's actually divine order. You're closer than you think. I know it feels like you're stuck, like nothing is happening. But that's the illusion. The biggest shifts happen silently, just before everything changes. You're not behind. You're not lost. You're being positioned. Final message, your power is awakening. Chosen one. This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Right now. Everything you've been through. The pain, the confusion, the isolation. It was all leading here. You are not crazy. You are not lost. You are chosen. And God is shifting everything in your favor. If this message spoke to your soul, don't ignore it. This is your confirmation. Like this video so more chosen ones can find it. Subscribe to Chosen Wave because your journey is just beginning. And tell me in the comments, what's the biggest change you've been feeling in your life lately? The pressure you feel is not meant to break you. There are moments when it feels too heavy, like everything is happening at once. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You feel stretched, tested in ways you never expected. And part of you wonders, how much more can I take? But listen carefully. Pressure doesn't destroy diamonds. It creates them. This weight you're feeling is shaping you into something unrecognizable. Not weaker, stronger. You're letting go of a version of yourself. It's not just your life that's changing. It's you. The old habits, the old mindset, the old identity. It doesn't fit anymore. And that feels strange, because you spent years being that version of yourself. But now, you're evolving beyond it. And growth always feels like loss, before it feels like power. Your silence is becoming your strength. You've stopped explaining yourself, stopped arguing, stopped trying to make people understand you. Because you've realized something. Not everyone is meant to understand you. And that's okay. Your silence now carries more power than your words ever did. You're observing more, speaking less, and moving differently. The signs are everywhere. You keep seeing patterns, repeating numbers, unexpected messages, moments that feel too aligned to be coincidence. It's like the universe is speaking to you in a language only you can understand. And you're not imagining it. These are confirmations, gentle reminders that you're on the right path, even when it doesn't feel like it. Your intuition is getting stronger. You feel things before they happen. You sense people's energy instantly. You just know when something is right or wrong. And it's almost scary how accurate it's becoming. But this is your gift. Your inner guidance system is waking up. And the more you trust it, the clearer everything becomes. You're no longer chasing, you're attracting. Something has shifted. You're not forcing things anymore. Not chasing people. Not begging for opportunities. Not proving your worth. You've stepped into a different energy. And now, what's meant for you starts finding you. Because alignment attracts what effort alone never could. The old world is losing its grip on you. Things that once excited you don't hit the same anymore. The noise, the validation, the distractions, they feel empty now. And that's not a loss. That's liberation. You're breaking free from a version of reality that was never truly yours. You're being protected in ways you can't see. There are things you wanted that didn't happen. People you wanted to stay, who walked away. Situations you thought were perfect, that fell apart. And it hurt. But what you don't see is what didn't happen also protected you. What left made space. What broke prevented something worse. Your path is different for a reason. You've compared yourself to others, wondered why your journey feels slower, harder, more intense. But your path isn't meant to look like theirs, because your purpose is not ordinary, and ordinary paths can't lead to extraordinary destinies. You're becoming unrecognizable, not just to others, but to yourself. Your thoughts are different. Your reactions are different. Your priorities completely changed. And sometimes you sit there and think, who am I becoming? The answer, exactly who you were always meant to be. The detachment you feel is divine. You're starting to let go without forcing it. People you once needed, you can walk away from peacefully now. Situations that once controlled your emotions no longer have that power. And it feels strange, almost cold at times. But this isn't emptiness. This is detachment. And detachment is where your real power begins. You're outgrowing entire environments. Places that once felt normal now feel heavy. Conversations feel forced. Energy feels draining. It's like your soul is quietly saying, this is no longer for you. And you're right. Growth doesn't just change you. It changes what you can tolerate. You're being called to something greater. There's a pull inside you. You can't explain it fully, but you feel it. Like you're meant for more. More impact. More purpose. More truth. And no matter how much you try to ignore it, it keeps calling you. Because it's not just a feeling. It's your assignment. The fear you feel means you're close. You've been hesitating, second-guessing yourself, overthinking your next move. Because deep down, you know stepping forward will change everything. And that scares you. But fear doesn't mean stop. Fear means you're standing at the edge of growth. And everything you want is just on the other side of it. You're breaking generational patterns. The way you think, the way you respond, the way you see the world. It's different from those before you. And that's not accidental. You're here to break cycles, to end patterns that have been repeating for years. Even if no one around you understands it. You are the shift. Your energy is speaking louder than words. People feel you now, without you saying anything. They sense your presence, your calm, your depth, and some are drawn to it, while others feel uncomfortable around it. Because real energy exposes what's not real. You're learning the power of being alone. Alone doesn't feel the same anymore. It's no longer loneliness. It's peace. It's clarity. It's connection with yourself. You're no longer afraid of your own company because you've realized you were never truly alone. You're becoming emotionally unshakable. Things that used to trigger you don't hit as deeply anymore. You pause more, react less, understand more. And that's growth. You're not losing emotion. You're mastering it. You're starting to see through everything. Illusions don't fool you anymore. Fake intentions, hidden motives, surface-level truths. You see beyond them now. And once you see clearly, you can't go back to blindness. That's the cost of awakening, but also its greatest gift. You're aligning with your true path. Little by little, things are making sense. Not all at once, but enough to keep you moving. You're connecting dots, understanding why things happen the way they did, and realizing nothing was wasted. Everything was preparing you for this exact path. You're no longer fighting the process. Before, you resisted everything. You questioned every delay. You fought every ending. You tried to control every outcome. But now, something inside you has softened. You're allowing things to unfold without forcing, without chasing, because deep down, you've started to trust the process. Your faith is being tested, not broken. There are moments when it feels like nothing is working, like your prayers are unheard, like your efforts are invisible, and your faith feels shaky. But this isn't the end of your faith. This is the strengthening of it. Because real faith isn't built when everything is going right. It's built when everything feels uncertain, and you still choose to believe. You're learning to move in silence. You don't share everything anymore. Not your plans, not your next moves, not your inner thoughts. Because you've realized not everyone deserves access to your energy. Silence has become your protection, and privacy has become your power. Your standards are rising. You're no longer accepting the bare minimum. Not in relationships, not in opportunities, not in how people treat you. What once felt okay now feels unacceptable. And that's not ego. That's self-respect. You finally know your worth, and you're no longer negotiating it. You're breaking free from validation. You don't need approval the way you used to. You don't need constant reassurance or external confirmation, because something powerful has shifted. You've started validating yourself. And once that happens, no opinion can shake you. You're attracting the right energy now. Notice this. The wrong people are slowly fading out, and the right energy is quietly entering your life. Better conversations, deeper connections, more genuine intentions. Because your energy is no longer a match for anything less. You're becoming mentally untouchable. Negativity doesn't stick the same way. Doubt doesn't control you like before. Even when challenges come, you don't collapse. You observe. You adapt. You rise. Because your mindset has evolved beyond survival. You're finally choosing yourself. For the first time, you're putting yourself first. Not out of selfishness, but out of necessity. You're protecting your peace, guarding your energy, honoring your needs. And it feels unfamiliar, but it feels right. You're understanding divine timing. Things aren't happening when you want, but they're happening when they should. And slowly, you're starting to see that. Because every delay has a purpose. Every pause has meaning. And every moment is perfectly timed, even when it doesn't feel like it. You're stepping into your true power. This isn't the old you anymore. This version is aware, grounded, unshakable. You're not chasing power. You're becoming it. And the more you embrace this transformation, the more unstoppable you become. You're no longer afraid to lose people. There was a time you held on tightly, even when it hurt, even when it drained you. You feared endings. But now, you understand something deeper. Not everyone is meant to stay. And losing people is sometimes how you find yourself. You're seeing who people really are. Masks are falling. You're noticing things you once ignored. The subtle disrespect, the hidden jealousy, the fake support. And it's eye-opening. Because now, you don't just hear words. You feel intentions. You're becoming selective with your energy. You don't give your time to everyone anymore. You don't entertain every conversation. You don't open up so easily. Because you've learned. Your energy is valuable. And not everyone deserves access to it. You're letting actions speak louder than words. You've stopped over-explaining. Stopped trying to prove yourself. Stopped convincing people of your worth. Because now, you let your actions speak. And those who are meant to understand will understand without explanation. You're releasing the need to control everything. You used to want certainty, to know exactly what's coming next, to control outcomes. But now, you're surrendering, not out of weakness, but out of trust. Trust that what's meant for you will find you. You're starting to feel inner peace, not constantly, but in moments, small quiet moments, where your mind slows down, your heart feels light, and everything feels okay. And those moments, they're growing, because peace is no longer something you chase. It's something you're becoming. You're becoming your own safe place. You don't run to others the same way anymore. You don't depend on people to fix how you feel. Instead, you sit with yourself. You understand yourself. You heal yourself. And that's powerful. You're trusting your journey more, even when it doesn't make sense. You're not panicking like before. There's a quiet confidence inside you now. A knowing that everything is unfolding exactly how it's supposed to. And that trust is changing everything. You're letting go of the past, not all at once, but slowly. Memories that once hurt don't sting the same way. You're releasing attachments, forgiving, not for others, but for yourself. You're ready for what's next. You may not have all the answers yet. You may not see the full picture, but something inside you knows. You're ready. Ready for the shift. Ready for the elevation. Ready for the life that's calling you. And this time, you won't hold yourself back. You're walking by faith, not by sight. You don't have all the answers. You don't see the full path ahead. But you're still moving, step by step, without certainty, without guarantees. And that's real faith. because anyone can believe when it's clear. But you're believing, even when it's not. You're no longer entertaining negativity. You used to absorb everything. People's moods, their opinions, their negativity. But now, you protect your space. You don't argue. You don't react. You don't lower yourself. Because you've realized, not every battle is yours to fight. You're becoming spiritually disciplined. This journey isn't just emotional. It's spiritual. You're becoming more aware of your habits, what you consume, what you listen to, what you allow into your mind. And you're making changes because you understand now. What you feed your spirit shapes your reality. You're letting go of the need for revenge. You've been hurt deeply, and there were moments you wanted people to feel what you felt. But something shifted. You let it go, not because they deserved forgiveness, but because you deserved peace. And peace is always more powerful than revenge. You're seeing delays as protection. Things didn't happen when you expected. Opportunities slipped away. Plans didn't work out. And it frustrated you. But now, you're starting to see it differently. Delays aren't always denials. Sometimes, they're divine protection in disguise. You're becoming more self-aware. You're noticing your patterns, your triggers, your thoughts, your behaviors. And instead of ignoring them, you're working on them. You're growing from within. Because real transformation starts inside. You're no longer afraid of change. Change used to scare you. The unknown felt dangerous. But now, you understand something powerful. Change is not the enemy. It's the gateway. Every new level of your life requires a new version of you. You're standing firm in your truth. You're no longer bending to fit in. You're no longer shrinking to be accepted. You're no longer hiding who you are. Even if it means standing alone, you stand because your truth matters more than approval. You're learning patience on a deeper level. Not just waiting, but trusting while you wait. Not forcing outcomes, but allowing them. And that kind of patience is rare because it's built on faith, not fear. You're becoming unstoppable from within. This strength you're building, it's not loud. It's not visible to everyone, but it's real. It's internal. It's grounded. It's unshakable. And once this kind of power is built, nothing outside of you can take it away. You're no longer seeking approval. There was a time you needed validation. You needed people to say, you're doing the right thing. But now, you move differently. You don't wait for permission. You don't need applause. Because you've realized your path was never meant to be understood by everyone. You're breaking out of old limitations. Beliefs that once controlled you are losing their power. I can't do this. I'm not ready. What if I fail? These thoughts, they don't hold you the same way anymore. Because you're seeing beyond them. You're realizing they were never truth. They were fear. You're becoming comfortable with the unknown. You don't need everything figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need guarantees. Because now, you trust yourself. You trust that no matter what happens, you'll find a way. And that trust is freedom. You're listening to your inner voice more. That quiet voice inside you. You hear it clearer now, guiding you, warning you, leading you. And instead of ignoring it, you're following it because you've learned. It knows more than logic ever could. You're releasing what no longer serves you. Habits, people, thought patterns. You're letting them go. Not out of anger, but out of awareness. Because you finally understand. Holding on can sometimes be the thing holding you back. You're becoming more grounded. You're not as easily shaken. Not as reactive. Not as overwhelmed. You pause more. You think deeper. You respond instead of reacting. And that grounding is becoming your foundation. You're understanding your worth on a deeper level. Not just saying it, but feeling it. Knowing what you deserve. Knowing what you won't tolerate. And standing by it. Even when it's hard. Because self-worth changes everything. You're moving with purpose now. You're not just existing anymore. You're intentional. With your time. With your energy. With your decisions. Because you know your life has meaning. And you're not here to waste it. You're accepting yourself fully. The flaws. The past. The mistakes. You're no longer running from them. You're embracing them. Because they shaped you. They taught you. They made you who you are today. You're becoming the version you once needed. Everything you went through. Every pain, every struggle. It wasn't for nothing. It built you. It strengthened you. It prepared you. And now, you're becoming the person you once wished you had in your life. You're finally seeing your own value. For so long, you overlooked yourself. You gave to others, ignored your own needs, downplayed your own worth. But now, you see it. Not because someone told you, but because you feel it. And that changes everything. You're no longer apologizing for who you are. You used to shrink, tone yourself down, hold back your truth, hide parts of yourself, just to be accepted. But not anymore. Now, you stand in who you are, fully, unapologetically. And if people can't handle it, that's not your burden to carry. You're trusting your decisions more. You don't second-guess yourself like before. You don't keep going back and forth. When you decide, you move. Because you've learned. Indecision keeps you stuck. But trust in yourself moves you forward. You're breaking free from fear-based living. Fear used to guide you. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of the unknown. But now, you see fear for what it is. An illusion. A barrier that was never real. And you're no longer letting it control your life. You're becoming more intentional with your life. You're not moving randomly anymore. Every choice, every step, every decision has intention behind it. Because you understand now. Where your attention goes, your life follows. You're choosing growth over comfort. Comfort feels safe, but it keeps you stuck. And you've realized that. So now, you choose growth. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it's uncertain. Because you know, that's where your next level is. You're letting go of what you can't control. You don't stress the same way anymore. You don't try to control everything. Because you've learned. Some things are out of your hands. And that's okay. You focus on what you can control and release the rest. You're becoming more present. You're not stuck in the past. You're not anxious about the future. You're here, in this moment, aware, grounded, alive. And that presence brings peace. You're aligning with your higher self. You feel it, that deeper version of you, calling you forward, guiding your choices, shaping your path. And you're listening because you know that's the real you. You're ready to step into your destiny. Everything you've been through has led to this. Every lesson, every struggle, every moment of growth, it was preparing you. And now, you're standing at the edge of everything you were meant to become. Chosen one. If you felt this in your soul, this wasn't just a video, this was your confirmation. Everything's shifting in your life right now. It's not chaos, it's alignment. It's God preparing you for something bigger than you can even imagine. Don't ignore this moment. Hit like right now, so this message reaches other chosen ones who are going through the same silent transformation. Subscribe to Chosen Wave, because this is not just content, this is your awakening journey, and you don't want to walk it alone. And now I want to hear from you. What is the biggest shift you're experiencing in your life right now?